Arsenal 3, Manchester City nil, as Arsenal win the Community Shield 2026 and are crowned the 2026 Community Shield champions. Start as you mean to go on, they say. Off the back of winning the Premier League in 2026 and a few short months ago, Arsenal have now won the Community Shield as well to add a little bit of silverware to the cabinet. Now, whether you guys consider that genuine silverware or not is up for debate, but it's one against your rivals in Man City, your title rivals. It's definitely bragging rights, definitely trying to lay down a little bit of a marker and a statement going into the new season. Getting that little bit of taste and flavor for winning silverware is always important because we have bigger ones that we want to go on to achieve for the 26-27 upcoming season. Ladies and gentlemen, it's CJ from the Gunner's Corner. Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're always here. We're always locked in. We're always looking for new content to bring out for you guys. And especially as the new season is now here and around the corner, we are looking to ramp up our efforts with content, with upgrades, with updates. So keep it locked here. But yeah, quick little match reaction. Couple big talking points. Obviously, we have, players returning, some players who were at the World Cup, definitely now full-fledged back into preseason. And, preseason is well and truly over now. Our next game is officially the first Premier League game of the season against Coventry at the Emirates on Friday. We do kick off the start of the season. So the Community Shield is a curtain raiser, as they say. And we saw many good signs today, many good performances. Um, you know, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I mean, I'm all over the place and I'm really looking at our midfield at the moment and I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. But, if we start from the back, I mean, David Raya is back. David Raya in goal. Great performance from him. I think we've seen, how much of a pillar he is to this team, David Raya. The other goalkeepers we have at the club, Kepa, Meslier, to be fair, they're not going to be able to replicate anything of what David Raya does. David Raya is simply a gem, and there's not many goalkeepers in world football who can do what he does in terms of the command that he brings to the back line, the control, the composure with the ball at his feet, collecting crosses out of the sky, the distribution. David Raya is just phenomenal, and yeah, we realize why he's our first choice goalkeeper. And if we're going to have any success this season, David Raya, I think will be key and he'll be the glue to that again, as he is that anchor at the back. So David Raya, solid performance, couple of good saves as well. We have to get that in there. It's not just what he does with his feet, it's the saves that he makes as well, quick reactions. David Raya is so key to this team, and he's going to be key to our success again this season. And what a goalkeeper he is. I'm going to give him probably a 9 out of 10 for his performance. Keep the context in mind of the fact that he's come back from the World Cup, hasn't had too much of a preseason. Um, so he's coming back from a little bit of a break and his first full minutes, full 90 minutes, full game. So yeah, David Raya, 9 out of 10. At the back, Christian Mosquera, I want to talk about him at center back really quickly. I think he had a good performance in his own right. Christian Mosquera is a player who, young player, had a mixed season last season. Very good debut, I would say for me though, overall. He started the Champions League final at right back, out of position, young defender. He got caught out, obviously, and conceded the penalty. We know the rest is history. But listen, he's a fine young player. He has the likes of Gabriel and Saliba to learn off of, and I think Mascara will be fine going forward. Whether he has a long-term future at the club remains to be seen. But yeah, I think Mascara is a good quality defender. He had a good performance today. He kept a clean sheet. He was pretty tidy on the ball. Won his tackles, won his foot races. A couple of them were against Holland himself. So I think Mascara did well. I'm going to give Mascara an 8. Maybe an 8 is too high. 7 out of 10, 7.5, 7.5 out of 10 for Mascara. Ben White at right back. The right back area concerns me a little bit, if I'm being honest with you. Ben White still doesn't look like the old Ben White. He still looks a bit off the pace at times and makes a couple clumsy challenges that gets me a little bit nervous. He gets done for pace against, quick pacey wingers like Doku. I think it's something that we do maybe need to look at. And maybe not look at because Timber is coming back, but again, we can't run Timber into the ground again. So will we be happy with a set of Timber and Ben White as our right backs? It's not bad. It's not bad. I think Timber, it just depends on everyone's fitness. If those guys can stay fit, it's a decent set. Ben White is a backup to Timber, who's one of the best right backs in the world on his day when he's starting. I think Ben White could be moved on long term, but considering what we still have left to do in this window in terms of positions, maybe a center back, attacking players, probably got to keep Ben White for now. Knows the club, he's been around, so yeah, keep Ben White around. But yeah, it's still one of those things. I don't want to see Ben White getting, starting minutes. That's the other thing. We are linked to the legs of Ezri Konsa. If Ezri Konsa comes in, he can slot in at right back when Saliba's fit. Konsa will maybe go to right back, or he'll get some minutes across that back line area, whether it's right center back or right back. But That's obviously a long way down the line. Will we get Konza? Will we not? We don't know. But Ben White, overall, again, I want him as a backup at best. If he has to be our main starting right back this season, I am a bit concerned, mostly on the defensive end. Going forward, he's quality on the ball. He can play with the ball at his feet as well. Um, but I think it's just on the defensive end, I am a little bit concerned about Ben White, if I'm being completely honest with you. But he's part of the back four today that kept a clean sheet. I'm gonna give him I gave him a scare of 7.5. I'm gonna give Ben White a 7. I'll give him a 7. But there are concerns, I think, defensively at times and rash challenges and things like that. So, but yeah, Ben White, held his own. Give him a 7. Calafiore left back, another player who defensively at times concerns me, but it's just he's such a wild card maverick for us. His ability going forward, he is very good at getting forward and getting into attacking spaces, and he breaks the deadlock in the first 25 seconds of the game, scores the opening goal, great run in through the middle. Miles Lewis Kelly picks him up brilliantly, and Calafiore, that's what he does for us on the offensive end. He's another offensive attacking weapon for us because he pops up in dangerous attacking areas and he slots the goal in well like a prime striker, bottom corner, composed, beats Donnarumma. So yeah, well done, Calafiori. I have to say, well done. And again, like I said, there are questions defensively. Sometimes, maybe he gets caught on the ball or he has like mental lapses where he switches off. But overall, look, Calafiori is a good player for us and he can be a weapon for us. So, you keep him around and I think, yeah, he can be part of a good defensive unit. And he's already a Premier League champion with us. Keep that, the familiarity of him already with us and knowing the club, having that couple years under his belt. I like Calafiori. Questions whether Mark question marks whether or not him or Hincapié should be the starting fullback at left back. I think it's a horses for courses. Depends on the game. Again, Hincapié more defensively assured, not as tidy on the ball as Calafiori, but listen, that's why we have a squad. So Calafiori, well done. For his goal, part of a back line, they kept a clean sheet. I'm gonna give Calafiori I'll give him an 8 out of 10. Gabriel, I think I'm going to give him straight off the bat another 8 out of 10. I think Gabriel is an absolute beast, man. And those questioning him, right? His Champions League final penalty miss, the World Cup, a couple of shaky games against the likes of Holland. Well, today he kept a certain Holland quiet, right? Holland didn't get any change out of Gabriel today. So that battle is another one to watch this season. But today, Gabriel won it, won the Community Shield, kept a clean sheet. Holland didn't get on the score sheet. Holland was ineffective. Couple good covering blocks. Gabriel came over to make up for maybe the likes of Ben White or Mascara being caught out. Gabriel was that assurance. He's the leader at the back. He's the vocal one. He's the commanding one. And yeah, there's no doubts about Gabriel, man. Top quality center back. People say, "Oh, will he be the same without Saliba?" I think he'll be all right. I hope. But I trust Gabriel, man. He's an experienced player, and yeah, I think if Gabriel is around, you're always going to feel a lot more safe. Let's put it that way. Gabriel, just like David Raya, is a big part of the spine at the back. So, big up Gabriel. I'm keeping an 8 next to his name. Captain without the armband at times on the pitch. Big up Gabriel. In midfield now, I'm loving our midfield at the moment, and we're going to talk about it later in the podcast I do with Murdad and Laurent when we put out another episode tonight. But listen, in the midfield, I'm loving at the moment. It really looks like a solid unit, a solid set of players that we have in midfield. And yeah, Declan Rice didn't even start today, and he's been the mainstay in our midfield for a few years now. But that midfield now with the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, you don't miss anything when Rice isn't there. Bruno Guimaraes, as I've said before, he's basically the Brazilian Declan Rice, just with everything that he can do, and probably a little bit more at times in terms of his attacking contribution to the game. He likes to play the ball forward, good balls over the top. He did try a couple of those today, but he does try to look forward, and he has a forward-thinking mindset in him, Bruno Guimaraes, and I love that about him. I think it was a very good debut in a competitive sort of game. Got 45 minutes or so in the tank. Bruno Guimaraes, he knows the Premier League already. Top class Brazilian international. Love the player. Not much more to say. He's going to be absolutely fantastic for us. So I think Bruno Guimaraes, I think you got to give him, what you give Bruno Guimaraes? 7. Solid 7 performance today. Miles Lewis Skelly. Bravo, sir. He is one of our own. What is he? 19 years of age, confident player, broke in this team at left back, did well at left back, keeping clean sheets and part of a back line that, some was saying was the best in the world. Certainly now it is. I would say we are the best defensive unit in the world, in my opinion. But look, Miles Skelly now he stepped out of left back finally. His future was looking dark at left back. The talks about him being sold. Don't you dare think about selling this kid now. Don't you dare think about selling Miles Skelly now. Absolute baller, this guy is, man. So confident on the ball, so composed on the ball. Again, he commands, he oozes class. He really does. Passes through the lines. That assist today for Calafiori's first goal, just let the ball drag across his body, takes the player out of the game, and this is a quick slip through ball. Um, it splits open the back four for that pass for Calafiori. What a pass it is! Like, you know what I mean? Like, if the likes of like Fabregas and these guys, Ozils, made that kind of pass, we'd be going crazy over it, right? But Miles Skelly, remember the name. Don't sleep on this kid, man. He's got that in his locker, right? Tidy player in possession, strength for his age, and he's only going to get stronger. He's only going to build into his body more. Still technically a teenager. The strength, the composure, the technique, and again, the forward-thinking mentality, forward passes, breaks the back line apart with that line splitting pass to Calafiori. Um, and you look at the midfield that started today's game, right? Bruno Guimaraes and Miles Lewis-Skelly. We didn't have that luxury last season, right? We played Zubimendi and Declan Rice all the way into the ground last season because we didn't trust what was behind those two, right? Um, Norgard and Miles Lewis-Skelly himself even didn't really break into midfield until the later half of last season. So when you look at it and you're thinking, Declan Rice and Zubimendi were the trusted midfield pair for most of last season, and they got ran into the ground. Well, look, now you can bring in a Bruno Guimaraes and Lewis Skelly into midfield, and it's like nothing changes. That's the quality of depth of midfield that I want, that I need, and this is why you need to keep Zubimendi and Declan Rice because I want a solid quartet, double pivot, right? And you can mix and match, but two start, two off the bench. And then obviously there's Marinos and so on. But in that sort of deeper double pivot midfield pairing, with the two sort of 1-6 and then maybe one more, a little bit more of an advanced eight. Um, I want a solid set, two deep in every position. So if it's not Zubimendi and Rice starting, it's Bruno Guimaraes and Miles starting. If it's not Bruno Guimaraes and Miles starting, it's Bruno and Rice starting with Lewis Skelly and Zubimendi behind them off the bench. Like that's the kind of quartet that we need to keep because we want to fight on all fronts this season in all competitions. So the squad depth, the quality, we've been calling for this for years when we watched City and Real Madrid and Barca and Bayern and these sides with squad depth. We've built a squad now that has that kind of depth, certainly in midfield, and we need to keep it. There's no sense in selling these players now once we finally build a squad that we think looks can go the distance. So I just had this quick word on the midfield and Miles Lewis Skelly, like I said, he was part of a defense in in the Champions League that was going to the Bernabeu and winning at the Bernabeu with Miles Skelly starting at left back and containing that forward line right at the time of Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinny, part of that back line that was doing that both at the Emirates and at the Bernabeu. I think he started left back last season against Inter at the San Siro. Like he's just a class player. It's the football IQ, right? As a young kid, Saka did the same when he started at left back and now playing further up the pitch. It's the IQ that players like Miles Lewis Skelly and Saka, to be fair, have, to come be that young and come into the first team and play out of position, just the football brain, the football IQ. Now Miles Lewis Skelly is finally in his position in midfield, and he needs to be a mainstay there for years to come. Big on Miles Lewis Skelly. I'm giving him, I'm giving him 8.5 as well out of 10. 8.5 for Miles Lewis Skelly. Now, my man of the match, I have to say, is Martin Ødegaard. Um, wow. Pure class, pure quality. Is Martin Ødegaard back? Is he back and is he back to his best? He had a fantastic World Cup. You know, he came back to preseason and we're hearing that he's been a beast. He's been a monster, Odegaard, in terms of his fitness and his training and his mentality. He looks like he's back to prove a point because even last season we won the league, but he wasn't a pivotal part of us winning the league. Let's be fair. He had moments, West Ham away, and so on and so forth. But he wasn't that mainstay like he was in 22, 23, 23, 24. He's going to want to be the main man, I think, going into the season. He's going to want to prove his form and his fitness. And he kind of looks like he's got a different mentality about him, carrying on from the World Cup form. And I think Odegaard could be back, people. I really, really do. I think Odegaard, could be back to his best. And again, I think start as you mean to go on, right? Community Shield today, curtain raiser, the first sort of sign of maybe the eyes of the footballing world, the Premier League watching world back on this game, right? The Community Shield, and Ødegaard stood up today, and he was class. I think he just helped run the show, and what was already a pretty good midfield. But some of the things that he was doing, he just looked so tidy on the ball, the turns, the touches, the body feints. The passing and the goal was class, the composure on the goal. We need to get Ødegaard back to a 22-23 season where he's contributing in the GA department, goals and assists. If he can do that, I mean, we're talking about a player who's, yeah, you're back to being one of the top midfielders in the world, right? Certainly in attack. So if we can get that Ødegaard back, we will be cooking people. We will absolutely be cooking. So big up Ødegaard. I'm gonna say my man of the match, to be honest. I think he was running the show, and yeah, well done, Ødegaard, and I'm gonna give him a 9 out of 10 today. I really liked what I saw from Ødegaard today. I really did. 9 out of 10, man of the match. In the front three, let's start on the right-hand side. Madueke, I mean, I've been very critical of him. Many of us are critical of him. He divides opinion. He's a backup player at best, but for us, we all said 50, well, not all, a lot of us said, including myself, 50 mil, big financial outlay for this backup. For me, still doesn't seem like it was worth it. You're going to push the likes of Dowman further down the pecking order. You're going to, perhaps cost Ethan Winieri a future because that's a guy who can play on the right wing as well. And I think it would have been wise, to have kept Ethan Winieri in our ranks and, Madueke, either you sell him. Now, are you going to sell him after 1 year? Probably not. And you're not going to get that sort of return like the investment that you spent on him. You're not going to get 50 mil back. So you have to sort of keep Madueke and move on Winieri. Too much traffic in Winieri's way on that right wing slash right hand side of attacking midfield. And yeah, I think it's a shame. You could have kept Winieri, could have developed him on that right hand side. And like I said, I think he could play on that right wing too, Winieri, and do similar things to what Madueke and Saka do on that right. But we invested in Madueke, which means, yeah, I think, that's traffic immediately in Winieri's way. And I think, unfortunately, it's going to cost him. Now you can say Winieri can play centrally as well, but when you think about what's there centrally, our attack has, Eze, Ødegaard, um, Marino can play there at times, Kai Havertz. So you would think that, Winieri can also maybe help come through on the right wing, but now with Madueke there, we invested in Madueke instead of using maybe the likes of Winieri as a backup there. And has Madueke done better than what we've seen of Ethan do on that right hand side a few seasons ago? I don't think Madueke has done much better, and it's a shame now. We bought the player, so we're not going to get rid of him after just 1 year with a big financial outlay on him, as I said, and it's going to cost Ethan. But listen, that's a conversation for another day. Madueke, again, I'm not super convinced by the player. He's a backup player at best. There were other players that you could have got out there that are cheaper, that you could have, invested in if you want a backup, but 50 mil plus for a backup for a player who lacks end product. It's just frustrating, right? And you saw, again, glimpses today. Very good one-on-one. You want to see him run at fullbacks, and you want to see him take on his man and beat his man, and just get the defenders on their heels. But what are you going to do after that? Once you beat your man, we don't know whether he's going to put the ball out of bounds, whether he's going to find the pass for the assist, whether he's going to hit it at the first post, whether he's going to put it wide, whether he's going to, you know what I mean? Like there's just such unknown with Madueke. And you would think that, with the training and the being at Arsenal Football Club and trying to go up a level, you want improvement, but it just doesn't look like you're going to get that at this moment in time. Now, second season, he will be here, so we'll see what he can produce in his second season, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this player. But listen, he's here. It is what it is. We'll back it. We'll support it. But today's performance was a bit mixed. Again, a couple good runs, no real great end product. I would say I'm gonna give Madueke probably a solid. Let's give Madueke a 6. Nothing great from him today. Give him a 6. Solis on the other side, however, now that's production. 2 assists. I said we still have a lot to see from this player. I'm not yet convinced and here to say he's better than Trossard. What Trossard has done so far throughout his career is a bigger sample size than what Solis has done. Solis produced in the Belgian league. As we know, that's nowhere near the level of the Premier League. Can you translate that to the Premier League? Look, so far so good. He looks fit. He looks like he's had a good full preseason. He's got assists. He's got 1 goal, I think, and 2 more assists today. So, well done to Zolis. If you can come in and give us output, because that's what we need in our final third. We need goals and assists. We need somebody to make it count when it matters for us. And we need someone direct. We need somebody who can contribute in that category. Because goals and assists, right? The most important stats in football. That affects the scoreline. That helps you win games. So well done, Zolis. More to see, more to come from him. looks like a tidy player with both feet. He does look good in possession, so he does remind me of a Trossard in that way. Very technical, good with both feet. Doesn't have the most pace, so I still do think we need pace in our attack. But Zolis is going to be good for us, and I want him as a squad player. Again, opposite to Madueke, 30 plus mil, 35 mil, whatever it was for a squad player is not bad. It's not bad at all. And again, he looks like a decent player, but I still want somebody proven on that left wing to come in to start week in, week out. We are trying to go up a level and we're trying to win trophies. So, that's where we're at. We need proven in my opinion. But Zolis again, good squad player, 2 assists. Well done to him. Well, hopefully he carries on in the same vein when the real action starts, so to speak. I'm going to give Zolas for his contribution 7.5 out of 10 as well. 7.5 out of 10. Um, Kai Havertz up top. Kai Havertz's best position is as a number nine. I don't think his best position is in midfield. We don't like seeing him in midfield. I think now it's fair to say he's not a great midfielder for us, but he does produce when he's in the number nine position. Good link up play. That's what, a certain Victor Gyökeres lacks, right? More times when the ball goes up to Victor Gyökeres, you feel like it's going to break down, whereas when the ball goes up to Havertz, you trust him to hold on to it and to keep it for us. And again, a couple good flick-ons runs into the channels really well. Again, another player definitely has a good footballing brain and a good IQ. So he utilizes space really well. Um, and like I said, good combination play with our midfielders, pulls out wide, can pull defenders out of position. And he got his goal today as well. So well done, Havertz. I do like him as a nine for us. Scored in the Champions League final. We know what he brings, Havertz. Yet to be seen whether he can be a 20 season goal and assist or certainly goal sort of striker, number nine for us. 20 goals. Can he be that? We're not sure yet. But I think, when you look at his overall play and what he helps bring to the team, he does definitely get the best out of the team. I think when he plays as a nine as opposed to Gyökeres. So yeah, well done, Kai Havertz. I'm gonna give Kai Havertz what I give Zola 7.5. I'm gonna give Kai Havertz. Maybe it's harsh because Zola's got 2 assists, but I liked Kai Havertz's performance. So I'm gonna give him a little bit higher than Zola's. I'm gonna give Kai Havertz an 8. When I look at the eye test and I watch overall his game, again he did get his goal, and just again though I think we just look so much more fluent and we looked better in attack with Kai Havertz there. Again, the link up, the movement, the creativity. I liked it. I liked it a lot from Kai Havertz and the strength, the hold up play. There's one really good flick on with a header in the second half to Zolis out wide that Kai Havertz did in the game, and little things like that, just the awareness and the IQ, I think, is much better than a Gyökeres, for example. And so, yeah, well done, Kai Havertz, 8 out of 10. Now we look to our bench. Let me just quickly look at the bench and who came off the bench. So Declan Rice got about 45 minutes. Good tidy performance from him. Didn't do too much. Call it a six, right? Because he didn't stand out either way, but he did get a good 45 minutes in the tank for him. Listen, I don't think I want to see him starting against Coventry on Friday. That player still needs, to continue to have some rest after the amount of football he's played all last season and before Declan Rice. 3 weeks didn't seem like enough time off from being off, coming back from the World Cup till now. I don't think 3 weeks was fully enough. So you ease him in slowly. I don't think he should be starting against Coventry. You manage his minutes because it's going to be another long campaign. But yeah, Declan Rice, 6 out of 10. Nketiah came on in the 60th minute. I think Nketiah had a good performance. Again, with what was left in the game. I mean, look, the game was dead by the time Nketiah came on. We pretty much already had it won. But yeah, I like Nketiah generally, but I'll give him a standard 5. Didn't do anything great going forward. Defensively was decent. Um, Semenyo did, have a couple chances on his side, but we kept the clean sheet in the end, and nothing too much to worry about. So I'll give Nketiah a standard 5. Bukayo Saka came on in the 60th minute as well. New look Bukayo with the braid up. Didn't do too much. Probably should have scored. There was a chance that was cut back to him. I think from Hincapié actually on that left-hand side. Saka puts it just over the bar. Maybe a fully fit Saka that's well up to speed. When he's in game rhythm and so on, maybe he does better with that. Gets it on target at least, but he puts it just over the bar. Otherwise, yeah, Saka not too much going on in the game for him. Just get to see him get some minutes. I think similar position to Declan Rice. You ease him into the season. Um, Saka because he's obviously had his injuries and he's had a lot of mileage in his body, a lot of football. So listen, standard 5 for Saka as well. Zubimendi, I'm gonna give Zubimendi and Gyökeres the same. They both came on in the 75th minute, so standard 5 really. Not too much to do, not too much to say there. Again, one thing I will say with Gyökeres is. You do see the difference with Kai Havertz and him. Again, the ball goes up to Gyökeres, the hold-up play just isn't there. The IQ just isn't the same. Different kind of players, but Gyökeres will be one to watch with the remaining weeks of the window. If he could be on the move, we will see. Um, and yeah, Zubimendi, like I said, I think standard five as well. Nothing too crazy, just about getting some minutes in his legs. Another player I think that we should keep. He is one to watch as well, though, on what happens in the rest of this window if he comes up for sale, if a big offer comes in. Um, I want to keep him though, personally. I do want to keep him. I got to be honest. But yeah, listen, we'll talk about that more in the transfer stuff in the coming days. Was even Mendy standard five. Eze came on 84th minute, standard five. Didn't really do too much. Not even sure he touched the ball too tough. Standard five for Eze. The manager, yeah, man, we won Community Shield. Another one for him. Listen, if they counted Community Shield for Pep when they listed all his trophies after he left City, then you got to count another Community Shield for Mikel Arteta. So well done to him. Got the team spot on, managed the minutes well, clean sheet. Looked like we had some intent about us today, and it looks like we're trying to go again, and we mean a bit of business going into this season. So still work to be done in the transfer window. But listen, for today's game in isolation, Arteta, well done. What more can you ask for? 9 out of 10, I would say. So players weren't in the squad today. Martinelli, Jesus, Nelson, right, to name a few. Listen, we're going to talk about what happens with the squad and how it fills out and how it shapes by the end of the transfer window, but it looks like there's a couple players that could be on the move, so we will see. People, that's it from me. Listen, well done to Arsenal, Community Shield winners. Start as you mean to go on. If you like this video, give us a like, give us a subscribe, share, hype, all that good stuff. And we will be back. More content to come. The season is coming. Up the Arsenal. We are excited about it. I think Arsenal can have another fantastic season. So, listen, let's wait and see what the season has in store. So, I've been CJ from the Gunners Corner. Make sure you keep it locked here with us, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.